and welcome to another episode of Life and Style with Zara. I'm your host, Zara Durrani. Performing, it's not as easy as it looks. Actors and performers spend their entire lives honing their craft while waiting for that one big break. Today, we'll be meeting with the artistic director of a Vancouver theater company, as well as the creative director of a public art performance company. And we'll talk to them about what it really takes to make it in show business. Later on, we'll be talking to popular Canadian actor Manoj Sood as he tells us his journey through the acting world. Joining us now is Ron Reed, the artistic director of Pacific Theatre. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
So tell us about Pacific Theatre. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, we started the company in 1984, as soon as I finished theater school. And then we built this facility, this theater, in 1994.
Now, what made you want to create Pacific Theatre? What sets Pacific Theatre Company apart from other theater companies in Vancouver?
When I was at theater school, I realized that I was somebody who was more interested in the play that I was in than the role that I was playing in it. So I would rather have a play that I was interested in than a great role in a play I didn't like. So I started to realize that it would be important for me to be able to help choose the plays. And another thing that was important to me is that I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. That doesn't mean that I would necessarily wanted to be in plays that were propaganda, plays that tried to make people believe certain things. I had no interest in that. But I did recognize, especially in the early and mid-'80s, that plays that dealt with those kind of spiritual concerns were not being seen on stages. There were a number of plays that I really wanted to do, and they weren't going to happen.
So what were those plays, and what were some of the main themes of those plays?
Well, one of them was a play that had run off Broadway for a couple of years. It's called Cotton Patch Gospel, and it took the life of Jesus, but it placed it in the modern South with bluegrass music. Funny and heartbreaking and just extraordinary play. And it was really clear nobody in Vancouver was going to produce that play. And I really wanted that play to happen, and I wanted to be in it.
So before we let you go, is there anything that you would like to add more about Pacific Theatre that you'd like our viewers to know?
The thing that I didn't know that would give me such deep satisfaction at this point is the number of people who are actors today, playwrights, directors, or doing other kinds of creative work in the media, in wherever, who have started at Pacific Theatre, who've been showcased at Pacific Theatre. There's this great circle of artists and audience, for that matter, where this is kind of their spiritual home, or maybe I should say their artistic home anyway. And so I can go to see a show at another theater and go, that's right, I remember when he was in that show. I remember when she came right out of theater school and she acted with us for a season. So you just look at this vast community of people that has grown out of this. So this tiny little seed of, here we are still 27 years in with a 120-seat theater, in this little, it's the basement of a church. The church there are landlords, but they're not part of the company. But still, we're just this little thing. And yet the ripples that have gone out are all over the world. And I find that just exhilarating.